this here, and we're going to be looking at some ball zen, all 3 maps starting here on University. So we see this, we see you guys, that's a ball zen comp with a Roadhog dropped in the middle of it. Is that standard for you guys?
Yeah, that's standard for us.
Mm-hmm.
What would you recommend?
D versus Sigma, depending on what you're trying to do.
Okay.
How's your off tank feel? Doesn't love those heroes, do they?
I've been playing more Sigma recently, but
Sigma's fun as
Diva
well.
I just have not really played very much at all. So I
Okay.
think Sigma would be better for that.
Yes, I would definitely recommend Sigma over Hog in this one. You can do some fun stuff with Hog, but yeah, not really what we do. Okay, fine. And then do you guys generally run the Kree here? Is that your normal solution or no?
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
Yeah, typically.
Okay. Okay. So I don't hate the Kree. What the problem with the Kree is you're sort of playing the comp that you guys are running at right now is sort of like we hope the opponents run Zen Ball 2 and we'll beat them when they don't dive well because we have a Brig Bash, a Makrista, and a Roadhog Hook. That's sort of what you guys are doing, and that's sort of okay, but it's not really the fundamentals of sort of how we drive the comp. So we may get into this a little bit as we go here, and some of this may change a little bit from what I'd expected to talk about. Okay, so we've got Brig has gone on a nice little adventure over to the right here while everyone else has gone left, or from our perspective, Brig went left, everyone else went right. Okay, so that's actually not great, but the not great part isn't that our Brig being alone isn't great. We'll start there. Our Zen is over here. I probably want our Zen and our Brig together, like always. But then I also get to, we've decided to go take control of this portion of the map with our really fast heroes, with our Tracer and our Ball. Great. Who's got control of this part of the map?
They do, or they're going to.
Okay. What if you had a Roadhog in here?
Oh yeah, I think I do actually go over there.
Oh, great. So why are you over there?
That's a good question.
Okay, so this actually matters. Again, I wouldn't necessarily go with the Roadhog myself, but like what you want to do here is you want to understand that almost every point in Overwatch can be divided into about 3 lanes, thinking from our spawn directions, where, okay, middle lane is going to be like this, right lane is going to be like this, and left lane is going to be like this. And you're running a Zenyatta Brig, and that's a little fragile. Like, Brig is going to do the best she can to protect your Zen, but if the other team was running their own sort of dive comp or is running a brawl comp, and they just pounce on your Zen, it's going to be hard to keep your Zen safe, right? Like, let's pretend that your Zen was here, your Zen Brig was here. They'd just sort of run over your Zen Brig and you'd be unhappy. Or they'd dive through here and dive through here on your Brig Zen and you guys would be unhappy. Yes?
Yeah.
Correct.
Also, Bosco wants to ask if the enemy team Rhine is supposed to like contest the tunnel, this tunnel essentially, and the points,
Usually.
or are they supposed to take high ground?
No, usually the enemy team Ryan is going to contest this for the opening move.
Okay, got it.
That's
Thank you.
usually what would happen. So where we were going before we were looking at the coffee on the table there. Okay, where we were going here was we were looking at this and saying, hey, if you put your Zen and Brig right here, they'd be pretty vulnerable, even if you had people over here, right? Even if you had your Tracer and Ball over here, like, we have a second angle, that's great. So what you sort of need is you need a situation where them walking on your Zen and Brig either requires them walking through the middle to get to your Zen Brig, where they can get shot at or looped around behind on by your Tracer and Ball, or, threatened by your Roadhog, yoinked to the side by your Roadhog, that sort of thing. Or they have to go push your Roadhog back, and as that happens, your Roadhog backs off a bit, kites a little bit, and your Zen Brig adjusts, and your Tracer Ball adjusts, and we sort of continue to rotate the map, but we keep our Zen, who is doing a ton for our comp and really is our engine for success, we're keeping him away from their comp and their ability to pounce on him. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I know we haven't covered any gameplay yet, but basically, I need something controlling over here. It could be a Sigma, it could be a Sombra, it could be a McCree, it could be a McCree plus a Sigma, but I need someone controlling something over here, because as we look at this, Okay, our Zen isn't really relevant yet. We'd like to get our Zen relevant. Cool. So if I'm this team right now, if I'm this Brawl team, how do I beat you guys?
Beat onto us.
Walk through right side.
You could walk through right side. Yeah, you could walk through right side. You could also just, like, I think they'll be fine just walking at your core right now. I don't think your core is going to be terribly safe if they walk at you. I think these guys are stronger than you, and I don't think you're going to wear them down enough before they get to you, and you guys don't have speed to kite them or anything, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
And their Reinhardt shield is just going to block all the damage as they get to you, and then they're going to win. So your Tracer and Ball are going to try and pick at them from the side, but you really need the buff of also having someone picking at them from over here and just overwhelming them. Picking at them from over here, picking at them from over here, something like that. So we're going to see how this goes. As they push in, I hope your Tracer and Ball go in. They're walking forward. Okay, and now we just sort of have the messiness that is not peak level Overwatch, we'll just say, where we've got the tank line pushing up here. These guys are going up here. That's maybe going to work okay for you guys. This is sort of what we want, where our Ball and Tracer are pulling 3 people's attention over here. So this is good. We should be putting pressure on these guys at a time when they would otherwise be fighting our backline. And these guys would otherwise be fighting your backline. So this is a good time to put pressure on them. But which group are we expecting to win with? Are we expecting to get eliminations on their backline or their front line right now?
Backline.
Are we? Really?
Right.
Are
Not
Ball
really,
plus
no.
Tracer
I mean, I feel like-
expecting to win against Doomfist, Mercy, and Soldier?
I mean, no, but like
We have
it's
numbers.
gonna be
in the
hard to
front
get
line.
eliminations on either of them right now. It feels like unless we like, make a significant change in our positioning at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think our idea is that like our core, like our Briggs and McCree core, is just like wearing down their core while our Hog is getting picks and our ball tracer as their own unit is getting picks.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. We have one more team member who just joined Team 1.
You told me
Who's
you
that?
were ready. You lied to me. No, it's okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah, no, and that's actually not a bad thought. The idea of, hey, our Tracer and Ball are going to be able to get picks, our Pog is going to be able to get picks, our core is going to apply pressure with the Zen damage, with Kree, that sort of thing. But for that to work, where does your Hog need to be?
Off angle.
In the tunnel, exactly. Exactly. And if that was happening right now, could these guys just walk across like they're doing if your Hog was standing right here?
No.
And if they turned to come push at your Hog, they'd be getting shot with a Discord Orb, a Zen, and a McCree, right?
Yeah.
And that group is perfectly capable of getting pickoffs too if they don't block it with shields and things, right?
Hmm.
And Hog probably isn't going to get punished. Hog could get punished, but he's pretty hard to punish even when he's alone, and he can walk away if he starts getting pushed. He has breather, all those things. This group has a couple stuns to protect it. This group has mobility to protect it. You guys would be in pretty good shape if you did that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it would be hard for these guys to really commit on any grip. So that's what we want to do. Instead, we're doing this, like, walking Hog onto point thing when point doesn't unlock for 12 seconds. I don't want to fight these
Yeah.
guys at close range, do you?
No.
Yeah, I want to kite. And now you're not really going to be able to kite, and you're just going to get eliminated. Okay.
Hey! Don't speak too soon. Wait, do I die? I don't know.
No, you don't die.
Wow.
Almost die.
Wow. Okay.
I think
Okay.
I'd survive by the miracle of plat level Overwatch.
Pretty much. And now you guys actually have a chance because you actually have yourselves a 4v3 over here because these guys all poked in back here. Can you imagine how much harder this would be if they'd left their Zarya over here? But anyway, they didn't, so they're all coming through here. And what they should do is they should just go, hey, we're going to drive these guys off, which it looks like they've done. And now these guys are coming and going to threaten you from here. So if you guys don't quickly win this fight, you guys should be in some trouble, but let's see what happens. Your Ball came back to go try to peel that group. Okay. Why are you still here? So, like, Bosco comes back, going, hey, I'm going to help. Oh, sorry, too big a rewind. My bad. Okay, so ball comes back and gets the elimination with the tether, which is fantastic. Cool. Who else do you expect to get here, Bosco? I know you can't talk, but like Zarya just went down. Mercy isn't over here to res it. I don't really want to stay in fighting a Reinhardt unless as ball, unless like I'm here and he's stuck picking between blocking my team, blocking me, or swinging at me. I don't want to be here where, wait, this Reinhardt mostly just gets to fight me, doesn't he? So that's not really
He
what
says
we...
he's
What's up?
yeah. He says he's just looking for tether and leave.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. Turn. You didn't need done ball. You still had fireball speed. Literally just turn and like go out this way type thing. Keep your fireball speed, hit Deanna, literally just turn your mouse, go this way, then roll out. And now, oh, what do you know? We've established a third angle, us, Tracer, and Core. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so we don't really want to unball in here to fight, especially because we didn't bother pile driving or anything. You know, I get that you're probably now going to adaptive. You don't have adaptive. Now you're going to roll away at least? No. Okay, so that wasn't great, but okay.
The objective is now.
Tracer's applying pressure back here. This is what we want. Hog has gone onto an angle. You guys are now playing some better Overwatch. Good. And you guys can win this, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Great. And you guys are going to win this, and we'll just let you win it real quick. Okay, who can tell me why we won this fight?
Their DPS were not really helping their team that much until like late in the fight, so we were able to capitalize on their having kind of isolated their Ryan and Zarya and Ana.
It definitely helped in some ways that they split their group, and this group back here where we're currently looking wasn't being terribly effective. What was tying up this entire group back here?
Tracer.
Right. And that's kind of the magic of angles. Tracer is threatening independently from her own angle, putting some pressure on them, and they're having 2 to 3 people, maybe not pay 100% attention to her, but pay like 70% attention to her and not really help the team, right?
Yeah.
So Tracer, just 1v3 every time and your team will be great. No, I'm kidding. But I'm sort of kidding, I'm sort of not. Like, what that was, though, is our Tracer wasn't going in hard. Our Tracer wasn't blinking in, trying to spend a clip, melee, recall out like that. Our Tracer mostly just needed to play this in a somewhat passive way to sort of be like, no, don't forget about me. No, don't forget about me. No, don't forget about me. That sort of thing. And that was enough to help beat these guys. What was the other thing that helped beat these guys as the fight went on?
That our Zen and our Hog were on different angles.
Yeah, as the fight evolved, your Hog worked his way back over here and then you guys were in this, or they were in this situation where they sort of have to pick, wait, if we push it this group, we're getting shot by the Hog. If we push it this group, we're getting shot by the Zen Kree. That was great. You guys developed this angle with your Hog. And if you do that, you're going to win a lot. So that's exactly what we wanted there. Okay.
Hello, I'm here now.
Excellent.
I got my mic.
Excellent. Okay, so Hog's going fishing. I don't necessarily love this because I don't think they were staggered enough, but hey, we'll try to get out. We know that they have enough people alive right now to just melt their Hog. Like, this is not okay.
It's
Yeah,
so
so
dead.
I think at this point we had realized that this team was like not quite as good, so I think sometimes we threw a little bit.
Okay. Sure. Okay, so this is potentially good. We see this happens. This is great in some ways, as our hog is backing out because our hog is getting pushed. Our hog is currently 1v5ing, 1v6ing, and I don't really like that. So what should be happening right now? If they're pushing our hog side of the triangle, they should be encased in a bit of a triangle, and it turns out they are encased in a triangle right now, and that's really cool. So if they're pushing one side of the triangle, we need to keep the other two corners of the triangle. We need to keep closing those in to keep them effective, right?
Okay, yeah. So Zen, Brig, and McCree should be on the other stairs.
Right, Zenbrig and McCree should be going, okay, we'll literally stand right here and shoot at you guys while you do that, and if you push our hog, we'll open this, right? Cool. So, that's good.
I
Instead,
remember this.
everyone is getting to shoot at hog right now, and this is, not amazing, because hog is spending a bunch of resources, these guys aren't. You need these guys spending resources like res, like Annonade, like Rhine Shield, like Bubbles, something to make this work, or you need to do this. And that's great, that we hit this, but where's the part where I say but and they get Zarya bubbled and nothing happens because you guys aren't draining their resources as a team and shooting? Okay, sorry.
The Zarya
I think they
completed the
wasted.
bubble on the Rhine when I had no hook.
Right,
Yeah, in
right.
this case, we did calm
They,
Zarya out.
Which-
they
of
did
bubble down.
waste the bubble,
Which,
yeah.
which is good, but my point is, usually you'd have to earn this Zarya bubble being gone because
Yeah.
those are the sorts of resources that you're getting out of them by shooting at them with your core here, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Those are, like we talked about getting reses out, getting nades out, Zarya bubbles out, weakening Rhine Shield, that sort of thing. But okay. Now you just turn this into a brawl phase and you walk on them. You walk on this team. You walk on this team. What are you doing? Walk on this team. Okay. I'd have liked our core to walk a little bit faster on this team. So, we pulled the trigger. Our dive is real now. Our ball is in. This is happening. Why are we sort of dancing back here? Now we're sort of walking. Now we're sort of, dancing back and forth for a moment. We, on our team, we need this group to go in and fight because our Brig doesn't get any value if we don't send this group into fight, right?
Mhm.
So we soften this team up as best we can, and then once we've decided they're weak enough that we can actually hit our dive, our Brig walking in has to be part of the dive. And if our Brig is walking in, how can we keep our Zen safest?
By keeping the Zen with the Brig.
You got it, by walking our Zen in with the Brig in most situations. You got it. Okay. For Reinhardt, and you guys should reset for lane control. Ball's getting left, Trace is getting right. We like it. Hog's going to control left-ish, and this is good. And there's a general rule, and our general rule is going to be, I never want this group to be 4 people. It can be 3 people, it can be 2 people. I never want this group that is your core to be 4 people in this comp, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. So
With
currently,
Sigma, is it the same?
yes. Yes, it's the same. So Sigma can either go independent and play their own angle, or McCree can join Sigma. Or if you wanted to get really fancy, I suppose you could have Zen join Sigma and Brig, and you could do other stuff. But usually it's going to be Zen Brig together and Sigma on their own angle. Or Sigma will sometimes be with this group, well, like a Hanzo or a Sombra or something else is, off on their own. So, this group
Makes
can
sense.
be a mix of your 2 supports, a DPS, and an off tank, but it can't be all 4 of those at once. It can only ever be 3 of those.
Mhm.
Okay, what am I going to be grouchy about right now?
Off angles.
Who's
We're
controlling
not
the right
controlling
side of the map?
lanes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we gave up map control.
If these guys walk in right now, you guys did not trigger a dive. You didn't trigger a dive that your Brig walked in for example. And, obviously you'll lose some lanes as you converge on them, that sort of thing. But you didn't trigger a dive. Your Tracer came over here for reasons. And now their Rhine Shield, for example, blocks damage in the direction of all of you. You guys don't have angles against this team. It's Roadhog to that. Okay, those are 2 angles, but they're a kind of small angle, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. And even Tracer just being able to tickle people from over here adds up quite a bit. Okay, and here, this is bad, they went and got our Roadhog. And they got our Roadhog while we were rotating away. Why are we rotating away? Well, we're rotating away because we recognize that we lose that fight. But we don't really lose this fight if our Tracer was able to go, hey, you guys need to turn around and pay attention to me. This 3 group here of Mercy, Zarya, and Soldier is not allowed to shoot at my Roadhog. They need to do this. And if they're turned around because of a Tracer, your Zen and Kree are pretty comfortable shooting from here. Or, if you went another way, it could be, hey, my Zen and Brig are here, and my McCree is over here, and now we're shooting from more angles still, and this McCree always felt comfortable shooting at this team. You follow where I'm going with this?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh boy. Does this look like, okay, so you guys are choosing to hit the dive now? Sure. We just kited back, and now we're gonna hit the dive.
Dein Schutzengel ist da.
Okay. Little disjointed. So obviously that's a little bit of a sync issue where your Tracer is recalling out as your ball is going in, your team is kiting. It's possible that your core will kite like this while your other two are going in. That's absolutely something that'll happen. In fact, sometimes your other two going in is, necessary to help these guys rotate. But this is a pretty hard in that Bosco is staying in. Bosco, I would have expected this to be sort of a softer. You might have still done a pile drive plus adaptive shield here. Probably wouldn't have spent the mines, but you probably would have, after that pile drive, adaptive shield, do a little damage and leave. I don't want to spend this much health while my team is kiting, because this comp doesn't really recover health very well. You have Zen and Brig, and that wasn't a real hit from your team. That was you doing a hit, whether you realize it or not, to help your core rotate away, to help protect your core, and not one that your core was going to dive with you during. And if that's the case, you don't want to spend a ton of health because, well, you're going to have to hit them again, right? Like, we're going to have to hit them again in 6 seconds. And who thinks Bosco's going to have health in 6 seconds?
I don't.
Okay. So, okay to do hits with your ball and your Tracer while they're trying to pursue this, even if they're not real hits, if it's while your team is kiting, but they should be softer hits, they should be less committal hits, even if they use cooldowns, they shouldn't be, I'm going to spend all my health type hits, but that's okay. Bosco does not have health 6 seconds later. Did we have that Transcendence still time? Yes. This is painful. Okay. This is just recognizing how things work. This team has lost their Ana, right?
Yeah.
Your ball and Tracer clearly want to go in. Your ball is going in. Do you guys have to kite now, or can you win a brawl against this brawl team?
I believe without the Ana, we would be able to make
Yeah.
that Ryan crumble.
Right.
With the Mercy, we needed to make sure the Mercy can res though.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure I care. And what I mean by that is you guys are going to spend Minefield in this fight right here. You're going to spend Minefield. You're going to pile drive and then Minefield, and I know that. And I also know that you have Transcendence. Congratulations, you win the brawl. And you know what happens if you haven't won by the time Transcendence ends?
We lose.
You're going to
We
pop
shouldn't have
Rally.
won anyways.
Oh, we're gonna pop rally. Okay.
You beat this brawl team in a brawl.
And is it just because they don't have an Ana?
No, it's because of the ults that you have. I just named 3 really strong brawl ults that you have available to you right now. And sometimes ults will do that where they will invert how a team fight works. Now, we didn't consider any of the opponent's ults. They will get Shatter at some point, but they don't have Shatter yet, and you may or may not know that. And they definitely don't have Grav right now, and they can't really nano anything. Nano would strengthen their brawl power. Shatter is a good brawl ult. Weirdly, Valk will make them better at brawling. That's not a sentence I'm used to saying. But you guys do want to recognize when your ults sort of allow you to... Remember how I said, what is a dive effectively? How do I want to put this? When you dive a team, you are skipping or you are shortening the poke phase to get to the brawl phase as quickly as possible, right? That's what's happening when you dive a team.
Yeah.
You're transitioning immediately from the poke phase to the brawl phase. So when you dive a team, you've decided that you are now stronger than them in a brawl, and this is a brawl comp, and there are times when you dive this team, right?
Yeah.
So hey, it's time for us to brawl, or it's time for us to dive, can be strengthened. Your window can be earlier if you have ults that make you better at a brawl and they don't. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So I do want you to start to recognize situations like this minefield is going to make us more powerful in the brawl, this rally is going to make us more powerful in the brawl, this transcendence is going to make us more powerful in the brawl, and we can potentially hit it earlier, because I'd rather you force the brawl earlier and use an ult than whoops, someone got picked off because, we were sloppy type thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We want to be active, right? We want to be active and not reactive on the dive.
This
Keep
game
it on our pace.
this game is easier if you're the team making moves and the other team is having to react to you, because teams aren't perfect. Now, I'm not convinced, truth be told, that proactive is the best way to play Overwatch if everyone in here understood perfectly what to do and how to do it. In fact, I would say the opposite, but the reality is Owl isn't playing perfect Overwatch. Brown is certainly not playing perfect Overwatch. Fair?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. And neither are any of your opponents. Okay. So we went for this. And this is fine. Our tracer correctly goes in when our ball goes in. Our team is kiting. I would like our team to not be kiting, because I would like to know that, hey, we're about to have a minefield down. Or we could transcendence and minefield after it. But we're probably going to minefield first. So we should be walking at this team, and now we are walking at this team, and that's good. But did I need Tracer to come back this way?
No.
Was there any reason our Tracer couldn't have come back this way?
No.
And this would have just been better, right? You'd still have some cover to play with. You'd be able to put pressure on this brand new Ana that's here, I guess. This would just be scarier, be stronger. This would give this team an extra direction to think about. This is a softer off angle. The only advantage you got coming back this way was it's easier for your Zen and your Brig to offer you support, but at the cost of such a minimal angle difference between our Tracer and this now, I much would have preferred this direction. But that's okay.
If
You
it
guys- go ahead.
if it meant fighting a, see, I backed off because I whiffed on the Mercy. She got the reds off, so I was scared I was going to be fighting a pocketed soldier. Would you still recommend I take that fight just to like open that angle,
I wouldn't,
even if it is a Mercy and a soldier?
I wouldn't seriously take that fight, but I'm perfectly
Okay,
okay
just,
with
like,
those people
poke at them.
paying attention to you. Like, it's a
Okay.
little tough because there's not great terrain over here, but if I went, oh, you rezzed, I'm going to blink up over here, this sort of thing. I'm going to wait 2 seconds, and then I'm going to poke at your Mercy again to make the soldier pay attention again. That's fine. I don't want you to spend your health, and a Mercy-boosted soldier can spend your health real fast if you make a mistake, but I would be perfectly fine with if 2, 3 of them are paying 50% attention to you, their front line is just going to get crushed if their Mercy and Ana are having to pay some level of attention to you, and their soldier isn't driving out your ball, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Really, like, human brain is not very good at multitasking. It's simply not, and teams are going to make mistakes. You are going to force the opposing team to make errors. If you can hold 3 different directions against them, either in an extended poke phase, in the mid fight, in any sort of thing, if you can hold 3 different directions, like, it's just hard. And they're not going to perform very well if they're like, it just feels bad. Like, I'm sure your main tank player has felt situations where he's tried to walk forward as Reinhardt, and he doesn't understand why, but it just feels bad. And usually what's going on there is there's angles, and it's just like, wait, what do I do? This doesn't work. It feels gross, that sort of thing. And you're making the whole team feel like that by setting up this pressure cooker situation, this triangle that they're walking into.
Nice.
Why are we kiting away? Oh, okay. Okay, so this should have gone better. But unfortunately, we've already lost our Kree. We do take their soldier, and now they're going to win because we didn't get enough value done, and their Valk lasts longer than our Transcendence. We're not really getting minefield value anymore. I do expect them to clean this up. Oh, but we got Nano out of them. I'll take it. Okay, so Can someone tell me why this fight turned against you guys?
We weren't able to capitalize on the advantages that we had at the beginning.
We didn't recognize that we had a stronger brawl with our ultimates.
Right, right. You guys went, hey, this is a team, let's fight against this team, and you sort of kept continuing to kite them and poke them, and you didn't, like, yes, we would have used our ultimates to enhance our brawl, but even if we'd gone in while they were resing Deanna or before they'd res Deanna, we'd have been in okay shape. Yeah, you got it. You got it. We would have had to ultimately bail ourselves out with our ults, but yes, we wanted to force that brawl, and we wanted to maintain our angles as we were forcing that brawl. But good stuff. Okay, that helps. We like it when that happens. Okay, you guys got this. Sure. Why did we get knocked out there? You do that. I don't know why our hog, like, goes over here, is really what I'm saying. Like, this is just better. We've put ourselves as hog in a weird situation where now we sort of have to back out this way when we wanted to be able to back out this way. But hey, we're brawling with Rally now, so I'll take it. And where's our Tracer? Why is my Tracer with my team?
Yeah, I think I just got back from spawn. Just trying to get back to the fight as fast as I can.
Okay. So this is happening. Here's my Tracer. I have no blinks. You have no blinks. I actually don't want to use this blink to get back into this fight this instant. I get that you're trying to get some rally armor, so I suppose I'll live with it. But I would much rather have joined your ball up over here and look who you'd have found to play with. This is just lunch if you'd found this to play with, right? Okay, perfect. Because now we're in this situation where our hog just got forced onto our team's angle. Our Tracer is on our team's angle. And our ball sort of got forced away by Doomfist, which will happen sometimes. Yeah, you guys have rally going, but I don't even know that you win this anymore, do you?
No.
Yeah, like, you still might. You got their Mercy. That's a good opening pick, but this is, like, if I have to fight in one direction, I'd much rather have Reinhardt as my tank than Roadhog or Ball. And, you know, I don't even want to do it with Reinhardt, but... Okay. Tracer, please establish an angle. Please establish. Thank you. I've got you in my sights. Okay. No. Nice, nice, nice.
Yep.
Meteor strike.
Sure. Okay, who are we prioritizing? That. You guys are making an effort. I'd have probably said send ball after the soldier earlier, but that's fine. Okay, so ultimately that still worked for you guys, and again, it worked because you went ahead and re-established your angles even in the mid-fight as the fight was happening. You were eventually able to cut them down with help from this side. We never really got help from this side, and if the soldier's aim was better, he could have just done more damage during the entire fight, and this would have been very, very hard to win. So how do we solve that problem?
Send Tracer high ground.
We keep the angles open.
Yeah.
I mean, Tracer could have gone high ground, that's true, but Tracer went over here and Hog had given up here, so I don't necessarily mind that. I also could have at any point sent my ball back up here. Did I need my ball on point?
Ball needed to go to the blast zone.
I needed to go top in order to set up a pile drive on that side and also like fire down.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have liked to send ball back up here. Like, it's annoying that Doomfist forced you out early. Cool, Doomfist forced me out. Hey, Tracer, help me clear Doomfist. Or, oh, Doomfist is gone. I'm right back up here because you're going to be, you know, one of the people who's more capable of, you can just hit this soldier, you can just bump this soldier, and he's way more of a problem if he's knocked down, way less of a problem if he's knocked down here, right? Okay. Cool, cool. Okay, so ball's feeding. Okay, and what I mean by that is you're going in and you're probably not going to get eliminated, but is you being in right now, is this allowing your team to fight people while their backline doesn't help their front line, or while their supports don't help their flankers or anything like that? Is you being in right now causing that scenario to exist?
Well, I think this was more of a situation of touch the spawn door challenge.
Got it. I'm very familiar with that one. Okay, fine. I'll let it go. Good. Great. Okay. Why are we backing off? What are we afraid of? We're reloading. Okay, fine. I don't really have a need as Tracer to go over here. Like, I don't. I'm still really, really happy with being over here. Like, my
Yeah, I
McCree's
got
got
greedy.
this. Okay.
Greedy for the mercy.
Okay.
Oh, close.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We're just confident that that full health Reinhardt isn't going to swing at us. Or maybe we're baiting him too. Okay, I'm glad that we got the Mercy, but that's literally us just brute forcing it. And we don't expect to brute force it against similar level teams. Like, it hurts a little bit that you guys are just better than this team from a review standpoint. That's fine. We'll deal with it. But, like, we look at this and go, hey, we understand what our fundamentals are that would have driven this better. But we also see why this fight is working quite well. That said, oh, where was this before? You're here. You have no orbs out. There's an orb. There's an orb. Cool. Brig has health. Someone else gets orb, right? Tracer gets orb? Tracer likes orb. Tracer likes orb a lot. Discord orb? Discord orb? Discord orb? Discord orb? Oh, hey, it's a Discord orb. So here's how this works. Your primary, like, the places that you want to be able to put your orb as Zen is going to be on your Tracer and on your Ball. Those are places that you want to be able to put your Discord orb or your Harmony orb in this composition. There are going to be
Do I prioritize
times...
tanks?
What's that?
Do I prioritize tanks for Discord orb usually?
No. You prioritize who... Generally, you're going to prioritize who you are shooting at, but generally who you can shoot at should also be who your team can shoot at. Your Discord orb is yours first and foremost, so you'll use it to win fights yourself if you have to. But no, you don't have to, because your team isn't necessarily prioritizing tanks, right? Like, you're generally more happy to force eliminations or threats of eliminations, because those get out things like ice blocks, like lamps, like wraith forms, like recalls. They get eliminations. They get out the big cooldowns that actually soften a team up. Whereas if you're just courting a tank, okay, you can do it. You can definitely soften a team, and if you get a team's total health pool low enough, that also counts as softening them up. But it's probably easier to get actual eliminations or get cooldowns out that are very similar in value by putting it on squishies more often in rotation. Like, if a tank's on you, if a ball jumps you and Winston jumps you, absolutely. If you flash a ball, something like that, absolutely discord it. But I wouldn't prioritize tanks over tracers or McCrees or anything like that. No. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
But when it comes to your Harmony Orb, your preference is to put it generally on your Tracer or your Hammond. They will do a lot with that Harmony Orb, and it's something that, because remember how they're playing in different places from you? Like, that your Harmony Orb will stay on them for a bit after they've left is actually really big and helps them win their lane. It helps quite a bit. So try to, like, in downtime, instantly remember to go do those things. Like, hey, wait, let me go move it over to these places. Between fights, absolutely put it on your Sigma, your Roadhog, whatever, to heal them up. Because, hey, of course, that's something you want to do. But as your Tracer starts to leave, as your Ball starts to leave, cycle it back to them. That said, whenever anyone comes to bother you, like a Tracer, like a Doomfist, anything like that, or if your Brig gets poked down, Exor is going to have a tough time getting Inspire going if Exor is missing health and doesn't already have Inspire going.
Mm-hmm.
So if like Exor got hit by poke damage or Exor is fighting a Tracer or something like that, yeah, you're going to cycle it back to him to make sure that the two of you are fine and can fight off the Tracer, the Hammond, the Winston, whatever the case may be. That is totally fine, but you want to then remember to cycle it back off Exor after the threat is dealt with or after Exor is full health and has Inspire going again. You with me so far?
Yep.
Cool, because that's the end of it. So there was no so far. Okay. Cool. Sure. Okay, so, I assumed that was the end of that point. So in review, because you guys need to have a plan the next time you walk out on this point for the first fight, and you need to think about lanes, either for first fight or for retakes or for both. Your plan is you're going to send your Zen Brig Core down mid, you're going to send your Tracer Ball down the high ground, and you're going to send your Sigma into tunnel. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds good.
And if the opponents push down mid, your Tracer Ball are going to loop around behind your opponents. Your Sigma is probably going to stay about where they are in tunnel, and you're still going to have a three-sided triangle as they push there as your core kites, right?
Yep.
Cool. And if they go if they instead rotate to high ground and your Tracer Ball go, wait, this is a 2v6, what happens?
Then Tracer Ball back off.
Tracer
And the
Ball
others.
are going to move over to, by necessity, something like this, something like here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is your Zen and Brig going to stay here?
Probably not.
Like they could if you're very confident that you already have your Roadhog over here, for example, and then your Tracer Ball are going to go back in, and then you want your Zen Brig to be able to support with shots or walking up themselves to fight. They could, but no, the answer is probably not. They're going to probably kite further away so that there's a pinch of if this core tries to just drop and run at the opposing team, they're going to get pinched by your Tracer Ball and by your Sigma, Hog, McCree, whatever you've got over here. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've got a quick question for McCree.
Sure.
Would I just be like roaming between the Sigma and the core, or just like wherever I need to be? Or is there like a specific place that's probably better?
Okay, so by McCree do you mean Sombra? Echo? Are these heroes that you're talking? No, I'm kidding. Okay, so McCree exists. McCree exists. Hanzo? Okay, so McCree exists, and what you're going to do with Cree is you're going to have to accept the reality. So Hanzo, I would generally require to... I wouldn't require, but I would generally want to take that third angle all the time. Like that sort of thing. He's got verticality to do it. He's got really good pickoff potential. He's got some good strong tools. McCree's mobility is a little less than Hanzo's. Fair?
Yeah.
So your off angles are probably going to be gentler than your team's off angle, and yeah, Sigma is probably going to be your friend. Sigma doesn't have great mobility either, so you can keep up with Sigma. You're going to hang out with Sigma a lot. It's possible that you're instead going to go, hey, wait, my Sigma got eliminated, something like that. Let me fall back to my other group, or my Sigma's controlling an off angle and I'm playing with these guys. You have some ability to roam between those two groups depending on what you feel you need to do. Like if the enemy team is running Sombra plus, let's say the other team is running Sombra plus Ball plus Tracer, you might feel the need to play with your Zen Brig to really protect your Zen, because it's really important that your Zen survives. That is the engine for this whole comp. But more often you'd go, hey, I'm going to get more work done if I have a different angle than my Zen, because my Zen is already a lot of damage and I can put more damage on my Zen sightline, but it's generally going to be better to reinforce your Sigma's sightline from a lethality perspective. Fair?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. You do not have a what was I saying? A full-time. You do not have a full-time position. My only mandate for the 4 of you is that you're not 4 people standing together. Like, that is my mandate for the 4 of you. The Zen and Brig should be tight. They should be buddies. Sometimes Sigma's going to be with them. Sometimes McCree's going to be with them. It should basically be never that both of you are with them. If you avoid that situation, you'll do okay. I'm not going to give you more specific than that because, again, you're going to generally do more damage with more angles, but sometimes you are going to feel the need to protect them. Sometimes you're going to feel the need to protect Sigma. And that said, don't forget, you do protect your Zen and your Brig by contesting that lane with a Sigma and not letting divers get through your lane to them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you wrap your head around that because that is important to understand that, like, contesting the lanes further out away from your supports does protect your supports in this situation. Okay, so you guys are heading out here, and I am going to see a fantastic job of what did you guys expect these guys to run at this point?
Brawl.
Cool. If you guys run your team over to here, and they run Brawl, and they're a real Brawl team, and they have a Lucio, they get here first, and I don't really want to fight these guys here when they got here first with a Lucio, because now they're just going to run on top of my Zen Brig, and I haven't really established lanes in time, have I? So if I really think this is a real Brawl team, and real Brawl teams run Lucio, they're going to get control of this first. And I can't really beat them here. I could beat them here with flankers, but my divers, my flankers, are going to get pushed back by their Brawl comp, and I'm not really going to be set up with a multi-directional hit by the time they get here. Okay? So if I think this team is running Brawl, I'm not willing to have my team open over here. If I think this team is running 6-man, I'm not really willing to have my team run open over here. If I think this team is running their own Zen Brawl comp, I'm totally willing to go here. But
just for clarification, what is 6-man?
Winston Diva, Moira Lucio.
Like 6-man dive.
Yeah. It's the 6-man dive that doesn't set up angles, that just goes hurrah, and everyone presses their movement ability.
Oh, is that Talon dive or is that something else?
Yes, 6-man and Talon dive are the same thing. Yes.
Okay.
So you have to do a little bit of guesswork here. You guys saw that these guys ran Brawl without Lucio, so you might feel safe doing this, but I don't really generally want to open this way, so where would I open if I was worried about these guys having a real Lucio? Where would I put people for our open?
The other side of the map?
I could put my core at the other side of the map, sure. That's an option. Okay. Point's going to take forever to unlock. No problem if I put my Zen Brig sort of over here by freeway. So then where does that mean other people go?
Off to the 2 sides.
Okay. So that means I probably want my Ball Tracer team over here and my Sigma, Roadhog, and maybe McCree over here, right? And I've got pretty good angles. They've got high ground, but I've got pretty good angles to shoot at them. My Zen can help, that sort of thing. If we want to hit them, or if they drop someone, we can make the decision to hit them from behind with a Tracer, hit them from the side with a Ball, walk on them with our Sigma, and walk on them with our Brig and Zen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So that's what I'm going to see happen, right?
Nope.
I'm kidding. I know that wasn't what I was going to see happen. Okay, so we go here. And at least this is good. We've got this. We've got relatively solid here in terms of our ball is going in. Our Tracer isn't really going in at the same time, and it looks to me like our Brig and it looks to me like this was pretty disjointed. Where we went like this, we're pretty close. It would be very easy for us to do a hit right now, where our Hog walks in this way, our Brig, Tracer, and McCree walk this way. Our Zen, for some reason, is walking with our Hog, but I'll take it because we're pretending Hog is a Sigma right now, and Hog's body is kind of like a big Sigma shield, so Zen will just shoot through it. We're good. This could be a pretty good directional hit. Now, I'm a little bit worried about the boop from the Lucio that they totally have, pushing us over the edge, but this could work. We go Hog, Zen, shoot this way. Tracer and Brig and McCree go this way. We hit this pile drive from this side, and then our ball rolls back out and shoots from this direction or shoots from this direction. And this team is going to be mighty uncomfortable. And, then once Tether comes back, we can leave if we have to. More likely, we'll just hit them again. We're going to be pretty happy with this, I think, if this is what happens. But instead, as our ball is going in, my Tracer just blinked out, and now is maybe thinking about blinking in. I just saw my Brig and McCree backstep, and now my Brig is like, wait, I think I do want to go forward. Wait, now I want to go back. Why is my Brig backing? And I get why my Brig is backing, but like if we look at this happens. Yeah, this is a big hit. Nice. We get their nade, that sort of thing. We get our hook here. We know that we're walking in. First off, my ball should not have retreated this way. My ball should have retreated this way or this way. Do we understand why?
Mm-hmm. They would make them have to move like towards the edge or towards the jump pad and open up another angle. I'm shooting from the same angle as the hog and maybe our Zen.
Right.
And that's not making the Rhine shield change any direction.
Right, exactly. And not just the Rhine shield, like the McCree's attention. McCree can see you all in this direction, and he can like actively try to dodge shots while looking at all three of you right now. If the ball's over there and he's moving like this to avoid Tracer and hog shots, he's not moving on your ball screen or on ball screen, and ball just goes, oh, let me just melt you at, medium short range with left click, right?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so that would have been good, and I totally get that this is scary. I actually legit totally do get that this is scary, but can this Reinhardt actually afford to swing at my Brig right now?
Kind of. Maybe he could get like one swing off before I like bash away.
He's gonna get flashed.
Oh, that's true.
You've got a McCree.
And maybe booped by the whip
Maybe,
shot.
yeah.
Right, I'm not swinging at you if I'm this Reinhardt. I don't like it. So you get this Inspire proc going, and then you just keep beating on this team. And, you have to be careful of the Ana. Obviously, if you get slept or naded, you're just going to get eliminated. But, we kind of want this fight to be happening. We like this brawl. We went up 2 people immediately. We hit our pile drive. We have all of our cooldowns. This is a good fight. Why am I backing up and not getting Brig value right now? This is what I'm talking about of once we've decided that we can win the brawl, our Brig has to be in, or why are we running Brig? And I know we're running Brig to send health packs to our flankers. I know we're running Brig to protect our Zenyatta, but to truly get all of Brig's value, and by all I mean the 30% that we're leaving on the table, she has to actually be brawling. She is a brawl hero. I know that's weird to think about because she doesn't get run in brawl very often. Talk to Atlanta. Yes, they'll run her. But what she actually is an anti-dive hero. Well, on our counter triangle, what beats dive?
Poke? Brawl?
Brawl. In our counter triangle, the way it works, obviously, strength of hero, strength of meta matters, but conceptually what happens is dive beats poke, and dive beats poke because poke likes a long poke phase, whereas dive skips the poke phase, right? They can use their movement to immediately force a brawl phase, and poke heroes are very weak in the brawl phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Poke beats Brawl because Brawl does not have the good tools that Poke does, or that Dive does, to skip the Poke phase. So Poke weakens Brawl too much before Poke gets there to Brawl, is conceptually how that works. So that's why Poke beats Brawl, and then Brawl beats Dive. And the reason Brawl, in theory, beats Dive is because, yay, we can get to the Brawl faster. But they're better than us at brawling. Wait a second. Now, that's just a conceptual version of the triangle. In practice, no one's running 6 poke heroes, 6 brawl heroes, 6 dive heroes. You guys are running a dive comp right now, but your dive comp has a Zenyatta in it. That's a poke element. Your dive comp has a Brig in it. That's really a brawl hero that's hardening you guys against dive. It's running, usually it would be running like a Sigma that's a poke element, that sort of thing. So really what you're running is a poke dive hybrid most of the time. And, obviously if you run into a team that's too strong at brawling, you soften them up with poke before you dive them. But that's kind of how that counter triangle would sort of work. My point is Brig, brawls, once you feel a team is soft enough to brawl with, you have to actually brawl with them. And I'm not seeing that happen here, so I'm sad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make sure to do that in the future.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, we win this, and we win this cleanly. And that's not a big deal, because we knew we were going to win this, but we wanted to do that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get our cap. And now we have a decision to make. Are we going to... Oh, well, first we're going to eliminate Zarya. After we eliminate Zarya... Well, I'll let that happen. Oh, you guys are trying to stagger Zarya. Interesting. Okay, so you've eliminated Zarya. You've cleanly eliminated their team. Are you guys going to hold high ground, or are you going to punish them on their rotation from spawn that you'll notice does not have very much cover? There's not very good cover between spawn and here. So,
Yeah, we always hold choke.
oh, excellent, excellent. You always hold choke. I'm thrilled to.
I think I might try to punish it and then get booped off the map.
Okay, okay. I look forward to it. This does not look like holding choke. Roadhog's holding choke. Zen's holding choke. Ball was earlier thinking about holding choke. Is McCree holding choke?
No,
Is Brig holding choke?
not yet.
Oh. Okay. I know you guys were taking down the Zarya, but by the time you're holding this choke, these guys are like halfway here, like... This doesn't really work, and I'll replay it because, you know, I'm being grouchy old temporal, but, like, we look at this to when you took out the Zarya. Zarya's gone, so surely you guys can rotate right over to the choke. No, nice double back there for McCree. Sort of walking over there, change my mind on which angle I want for Tracer. Oh, maybe I'm gonna go here. No, I want the other one. Okay.
Quick question as Tracer. When holding, how exactly do I hold a choke? Or should I be going around?
Okay, so what you would need to do, and this is really what I'll just put it like this. I'm gonna delay your question because I'm gonna punt it to you guys as a team.
Okay.
If I punt this question to you guys as a team, I can see Tracer and McCree and Hog are getting confused over which angle they should hold. Zen is just like, nah, I'm just going to send orbs through here. That's great. But there's 5 of you sort of controlling 1 to 2 angles here that are very similar angles. And there's one hero who doesn't actually have very good poke controlling a second angle. That's probably not right, is it?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of talked about lanes before, and we could look at this and go, hey, I wanted to walk my McCree all the way over here. That's hard because McCree's slow. Maybe as McCree got here, I rotated my Zen across because, you know, Zen can at least be charging right click and then send a 5 orb through here and then charge another right click and then send 5 orb through here and start shooting. Like, maybe that makes sense as a coverage. But the point is, I can't really have everyone controlling this because if this is the case, well, how do I solve being shot at from one direction as a brawl team?
Ryan shield?
That becomes a lot harder if I'm also getting shot at from over there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I want taken care of. Yes, who's over here or over here will in total do less damage than the people over here, but you need the angular threat. So to go back to our Tracer question, I look at this and go, hey, I would have wanted a situation here where if my Zen is threatening this angle, I might go, hey, I also want my Hog or Sigma here because I don't want my Zen to get run over. But if that's the case, I probably need to have like my McCree over here, and then I'm looking to actually loot my Tracer and my Ball, maybe to threaten from here, maybe to threaten from here, and I'm potentially willing to come in behind this team and feast on them because this is our kill box. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, one quick question. Do you mind pulling Bosco back? He got disconnected.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, should be all set now. So that's what we'd have liked to see. Instead, we sort of held out long enough that this isn't even a great poke at them for the spawn type hold thing, and we might have even been better off holding high ground. Oh, okay, so we did that. So now we've gone in with our ball, sort of. And our Tracer's trying to brute force their way in, but our Tracer brute forced their way in from the direction that our team was, so Doomfist was already paying attention in that direction. That's going to happen. That's why we come in from a different direction. Shots for Tracer. Tracer's like worst enemy is spam that was meant for her teammates. And we mitigate that by going, no, if you're going to hit me, you better be shooting at me, which means I need to be at a completely different angle than my team. Okay, so this happens. Now I'm scared because we're not in a great situation, and I probably want to kite back against this team, and I want to kite back while fanning out to form a concave to protect my team as we're doing it. Okay? Good, good. Great. Okay, perfect. So you guys just did this, and what am I so happy about?
Henry.
3. I'm happy about the number 3. You guys got it.
Oh.
Sorry, what did you say, McCree?
I said McCree and Henry.
Oh, got it. Yeah, no, I mean, what I'm really happy about less is the McCree. I'm actually much more happy that your hog is over here, and your ball plus Cree are over here, and your core is right here. If this team walks at your Zen Brig, they're not actually going to have that great a time, are they?
No.
Which is exactly what we wanted, and you guys fell into this positioning after going down someone. You properly kited back. I want you to do this every single time. If you go down in a fight and you need to go, oh shoot, we need to slow down this fight, we need to slow it down until more ults come online, we need to slow it down until respawns come back, we just need to slow down this fight and make it more painful for the other team because we went behind in some way, this defensive concave where you kite your core backwards and you spread your people to the sides to protect that core is your best friend. So like this was an excellent adaptation. Please do this every time.
Thank you.
I mean, please don't, stand your McCree in the middle of a lane like this where he doesn't really control the cover. Please stand him, on something like this where he has cover control. Don't worry, I can't stay nice. It's not in my nature. But, other than that is great. Great.
Oh my god.
Ouch.
Oh my god.
That's okay. Why did our ball retreat so far? What happened to our ball? Did our ball just go to get a health pack?
He was just taking a little tour.
No, just had to go get the mega. I get it. I probably would have said you could have played with the half health you had, just gently, but that's okay. And now we walk at this team, and that's great. So let's do some more micro because you guys did some macro pretty well. Okay, well, we could do that. I'm saying you guys do the macro pretty well, and then you do this. Cool. How many of you are alive? How many of them are alive?
V3.
What's that?
6v3, I think.
I think it's a 5v3,
Oh,
actually.
V3's dead. Yeah, that's right.
5v3.
Yeah. I don't mind this if this is going to get you good staggers. Like, this isn't the worst minefield in the world. It's not like, oh my goodness, how dare you do this? But I really don't think we need this one. I'll deal. Oh, maybe we do. We're not even going to get our cleanup eliminations. That makes me sad. Okay, we're definitely not going to get our cleanup eliminations now, right? So, like, now we're going to leave, and what are we going to do as we leave?
Get booped
Kite.
off.
Fall into a defensive concave. Take angles. Get pooped off. Okay. Okay. And Tracer is correct in that they're going off here to the edge. We don't really have the poke aspect that we'd like now. We don't have a McCree or our hog, so we don't really have the ability to seriously threaten poke from here. With that said, we still do this concave. Okay, so you have enough players. What am I screaming you guys about if I'm coaching you in Scrim right now?
Good question.
I don't actually know. Is it more concave?
Who's got left
Keep
lane?
kiting.
Nobody's got left lane.
Yeah, and your ball's alive and back and perfectly capable of being controlling this left lane over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our Tracer was up here with us and fell back to here to sort of control this, but as we continue to kite back, this left lane starts to exist, and if this left lane now exists, I need someone threatening from it. And, you know, it would be great if that was a Sigma, a Hog, Sombra, whatever, but the option that I have right now is Ball, and so that's the option I'm going to use. And Ball can swap lanes very easily, so let's do it. Instead, this is happening. Okay. And this works. Like, we're going to be okay here. We're going to get them. It's a good job that our Tracer and Ball hit as they're chasing us. Like, that's going to work out for us. And, hey, they're in a bad situation. We're spending more ults. But ultimately, a better team is going to be running D.Va, not Reinhardt. And D.Va plus Reinhardt can answer 2 different directions temporarily. So 3 becomes our magic number. Or Reinhardt plus Sigma can answer 3 different directions. Or Orisa plus Sigma. 3 different... Okay, you get where I'm going.
You mean D.Va, not Zarya?
Did I say D.Va, not Reinhardt? Yeah, they're going to be running D.Va instead of Zarya, yes.
So is Ryan Zarya just like worse than Ryan D.Va? And
Yeah, and there's a couple reasons for that. On ladder, you're going to have a lot of fun with Ryan Zarya, but the reality is when you think about how fights are won as the gameplay level goes higher and higher, in everything past, say, the first fight, there's going to be things on the board that D.Va slows down the fight enough and makes it so the opponents can't just solve and win the fight quickly. If the opponents have Blizzard, if the opponents have Window Firestrike, if the opponents have High Noon, if the opponents have just regular Window, if the opponents have Grab, if the opponents have Barrage, having to get some DM out of D.Va, or having to put enough pressure on D.Va that she has to leave, having to make D.Va do something, boost her away, use all of her DM, get her demeched, whatever, before you can just go, let's yeet in our Blizzard, let's yeet in our Grab, really slows down how quickly you can affirmatively win the fight as a team. And if the opponents are slowed down in how much they can, in how quickly they can affirmatively win a fight, that gives you more time to solve, that gives you more ability to get to your win condition, solution, whatever it is for the fight is going to be. That gives you a greater chance of getting to your, we've done it, we've locked our 3 angles, we got your lamp out, now we can go. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I know it's a little sad. Reinhardt Zarya is a lot of fun, and on ladder Zarya is great, especially sub GM, because Zarya gets stronger when your teammates make mistakes that you get to save them from, whereas D.Va goes, hey, I can save my team from mistakes all day, but they still eventually have to win the fight, and then you cry a tear when they don't. You know, minor detail. So this is good. Interesting Tracer over here. I'm totally good with McCree over here. I'm totally good with Ball over here. I'd really like my Tracer to be able to mess with this Doomfist right now. I can live with my Hog here. I'd also be fine with my Hog here. I'm not so much loving my Tracer.
Brig?
What?
Is the Tracer shooting?
Yeah.
Meteor strike.
And again, I'd look at this, and we could have much more quickly driven off this Brig, McCree, these are all heroes. This Doomfist, if we'd, I don't know that McCree is a hero anymore. We could have driven off this Doomfist faster, and then we could probably be having our Ball go across for a hit as our Tracer, again, came from behind here, and we walked our Zen and Brig in, and these guys would be pretty unhappy, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's probably not when I go hook fishing. And I don't hate it if you guys play this comp with a Hog, by the way. It is better with a Sigma, but like the problem with going hook fishing right now is, are these guys like, this is the direction they're already looking, they're already paying attention. It's so much easier to land your hook if they're thinking about a Tracer behind them. If they're thinking about a Ball that just pile drove them and is trying to roll away, right?
Yeah, I just tried to time the fire strike and be cheeky about it.
Okay, fine. Use your team. Use
You
your
know how
team.
it is.
I do.
It's Hanu.
Okay.
Volym om uweddick. Alla till mig!
This is exactly what we want, other than your Roadhog getting melted here. I wanted to slow this fight down rather than speed it up. It looks like your Roadhog is going really hard, and I don't need to go really hard if I'm Roadhog. I don't need to let them zap me, because they're not paying much attention to my ball right now, and my Tracer is going to win this fight with this Doomfist. And I don't expect you to be aware exactly that there's a Tracer Doomfist fight going on, but my point is, I look at this, it's going to be really hard for us to get eliminations here immediately. Like, we can't hard fight this team. If all of them are doing damage to us and we're doing damage to them, there's more of them and they're going to win right now, right?
Hmm.
But I can see that my ball is over here delaying point. I'm over here. That's a good sign. If they start doing damage to me, I want them to stop doing damage to me and start to look towards my ball, and then I start doing damage to them to make them pay attention to me again. Like, there's an ebb and flow that we sort of need to be exercising here, and instead, our 3/4 health hog is now a 15% health hog. And that shouldn't really happen.
That makes sense what you said though. Like,
Good.
you know, alternating between me and ball.
Perfect. This is good. Tracer and ball taking different sides of the tower.
Till mig!
And now you guys win. Reestablish angles. Bosco, we might get a little bit more into your micro. Great. Okay, we did that. You didn't have pile drive, then what are you doing? So you do this, you hit this tether. Like, I guess I'm just surprised that you, like, if you're doing this, you're either going to unball and immediately start shooting, or you're going to stay tethered and swing around. So I'm a bit surprised that you sort of stay balled for a bit here and sort of roll away. Like, if your plan was to hit your fireball and get out, why didn't you just stay on the tether, because that'll continue to get you out faster?
I don't think he can talk. I think he's back in his room or something, and his roommate is asleep.
Okay, no
But
problem.
he says, "Yeah, Bosco, do you have a response?"
Bend yourself.
Yeah, I don't think he has a response. He just said it was a mistake.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Sure. Good. And now Tracer. Great. Now onto the map that should be another easy map for you, but I see there's enough time in this game that I'm worried about it.
5,
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, they went with a double bubble and it messed with you. Okay. Okay, so what is the power position on this map?
High ground.
Yes. So you have to make a decision. Do you think your opponents are running Lucio or not? Do you think your opponents are running Lucio?
Probably not.
Okay. So then what we should do is we would probably rotate our core. We'd try to race to get our core up here, and we'd accept that any comp is going to try to mirror us, so we probably need a cross hit, where we probably need our ball to swing up and hit from over here to try to knock people over, or maybe our Tracer to blink under and then try to come around back like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what we need to happen. Our Tracer might run into their Tracer, our ball might run into their ball, their Winston, whatever, that sort of thing, but like that's probably what we were trying to do. This doesn't
So
look
in,
like a fight over the privileged position, and this doesn't look like a race to the privileged position, does it?
Yeah, we fight for the Mega first.
Okay, so this is totally a sim TP that I'm seeing that's getting us to race and go do this. Your Tracer dropped a sim TP, teleported you guys, you then swapped to Tracer. Yeah, okay, fine. So you fight over the Mega first. My point, though, was that's a thing that you'd want to understand, and if you did think this team had a Lucio, how would you rotate it?
From the Mega?
Mega would be pretty solid. Yeah. You could
Maybe
put
get
your
some
core there.
people looping around behind them.
How do you get people looping around behind a team that's standing here?
I imagine we'd go through, go around Mega
Bosco says under.
under.
I'm not sure what that means. Maybe like
And then does
underneath.
like Pharaoh boost up from here and shoot them type thing? Like, my point is, you do want to still take angles against them, but it would become a case of, hey, if they already have control, or if they beat you to that position because they have a Lucio, you're going to put more your Zen Brig over here, and then you're going to set something like a McCree, a Hanzo, a Sigma, a Roadhog over here, and a Tracer, a Ball, whatever, over here, because again, you can go Tracer Ball go in, Sigma maybe goes threatens, maybe just threatens from here, and your core threatens from here, and you've once again established 3 angles, right?
Mhm.
And again,
Yeah.
if they try to just speed run or 6-man dive or whatever onto your core, well, your Sigma is going to go, no, I get to shoot at you if you do that. And your Tracer and Ball can go, oh, you tried to go in, and they can come in and try to eliminate the Moira or peel whatever they have to as well, right?
Mhm.
So for our initial takes, we're probably going here unless we think they have Lucio. If we do think they have Lucio, or if we're retaking, we're probably sending our core here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. These don't look like angles. I can draw a straight line through your team. Okay. So they went like this, and now your Zen doesn't really have cover, and your Brig doesn't really have cover against this high ground, do they?
No.
So we wouldn't really walk here. We sort of, no one on your team really likes cover very much, it seems. Okay. This is cool and all, but are we going to be able to follow up on this, like, at all? This ball engage? Maybe McCree will hit a headshot? No. So now we've spent our adaptive shield and our slam on ball to really, okay, we got some cooldowns out. That's cool. But we were very unlikely to convert those to elimination. So I guess this was to buy us time to rotate, but we don't really know where we're going as a team. And now I'm actually concerned because our ball has to leave, and there's no reason. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. One of our guys got DC'd again. He's
No
in
problem.
team.
No problem. So our ball has to leave because they just spent their abilities, and now there's this group up here that can literally just run onto my Zen, and how am I ever going to protect my Zen?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about positioning, not a big deal, and we're going to see that they're not going to punish you. But you would punish them if you were in their shoes.
The objective is now.
Okay, ball goes back in. This is good that we're threatening from multiple sides, and you guys are going to make this a dive. The problem is your hog can't really get here is sort of the problem. Like, this doesn't really surprise me that your hog is in such rough shape right now, because your hog was sort of waddling his way over here. He's not Sombra, he's not Invisible, he's not Tracer, he's not Ball, he's Hog, and he sort of had to waddle his way through the enemy's hookah. This is a spot that you want, but this is much more likely to be a spot that you control with either an Invisible Sombra or at least a Tracer or a Ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas your
Yeah.
side is easier to control with a Hog, a Sigma, that sort of thing, because it's a little easier, at least initially. Sure, they'll kite back to their team if they get pushed. This is not really kiting back to our team, but hey. Conceptually, I can see you're trying to hit them from multiple sides, and Tracer is just lost and going, wait, I'm supposed to clean up stuff that gets dropped, right? Give me some scraps on the point to fight. Cool. Tracer's going and getting a pack, and I hate it. So cool, Tracer. You just did it. You just took out your mirror buddy. I love it. You took out your mirror. Are you in a place? Well, let's even rewind. Great.
What?
I don't know why we.
Oh, no.
Kills.
it would really be pretty easy for you to get a repair pack or a harmony orb from here, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What's our harmony orb doing right now?
Maybe not.
Nah, this is easy. This is easy, literally, to scoot and get this on you. Like I'm not too worried about you. What's our harmony orb doing right now?
How do you tell actually?
Oh, you guys can't tell. Sorry. So I can see at the right side of my screen that my Discord orb is on Zarya, and my harmony orb isn't on anyone.
Right.
Okay. And that's okay. Maybe I can yell at Exor too. So where are my repair packs right now? How many repair packs do I have available?
I have 2.
Cool. Oh, I can see Tracer, can't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
think he was just above the critical health thing, so it doesn't pop up for us.
I don't care. He's missing
Yeah.
health. Hey, so like for Exer, that's a little bit more of an excuse, but the reality is I want your harmony orb out on him or Ball, generally speaking, and it's not on anyone. And for Exor, it's a little more interesting, but like that's plenty of health to repair pack. And remember, repair pack works similar to harmony orb, where it's 55 health per second, but it goes for 2 seconds there, so it'll continue on them even if they leave line of sight, or if they take more damage, it can heal it back in that time, that sort of thing. So we
I
absolutely
think
go ahead.
I think I just wasn't looking at it because I was looking at
Yeah.
the monkey because I thought he was about to jump onto my Zen. I was like preparing my whip.
Yeah, no, that's higher
None of
priority.
none of us were looking at her. So.
Yeah, no, and I get that. So our Tracer can just ask for help. Like this is literally going to be a thing. I've been talking about lanes and how like okay, we want our Tracer and our Ball to control their hookah. We want our Hog to control our hookah. Maybe we want our McCree to help control our hookah. And then we want, and by the way, when I say hookah, I'm referring to this area here that you guys are currently in. It gets called that because of that. But and then I want down main potentially our Zen and our Brick. In order to win these lanes, you're sometimes going to have to get cross lane help. Rather than just completely surrender a lane and go, well, let me go back here like this, let me go back here like this, I'm going to want cross lane help. That can be in the form of maybe you guys have an Echo, and that Echo is shooting across lanes to help, or maybe you guys have a McCree, and your McCree would like to be shooting here, but shoots across to help, that sort of thing. But the most common form of cross lane help is going to come from your Zen and your Brig, who are going to be throwing packs like that and harmony orbs like that, or Discord orbing what you're fighting, that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of going to be the evolution of like, it's totally fine to go get health packs and all, and your Ball's going to do it a ton, but we do want to be conscious of, we want to call for resource help. Like when I said the Zen was the engine to your team's success, I did mean it. And it's like the Zen does a lot of damage. Discord orb is absolutely amazing, but really it's getting that Discord orb out there, getting that harmony orb out there, getting that damage out there, and being able to support your cross lane play, which these two supports do very, very well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So call for help if you're losing your lane. You can start to surrender space and pull back closer in your lane to where your team can help you, because usually that's how it'll work. Because remember, usually these two wouldn't be here, they'd be here. So you wouldn't fully surrender your lane, but you'd pull back to like here, and then you'd get help, that sort of thing. Whereas if you're winning your lane, you might be in a place where if you're winning too hard, they can't help you and you need to ease off a little bit. That sort of thing may happen. But call for cross lane help rather than dying or rather than completely giving up your lane is going to be a...
So
Go ahead.
Sorry. In this case, I would say blink back behind the pillar, call for help, and then engage again, and then they would pack me.
Right, you'd blink back here, you'd get packed because they'd be standing right here. This is a theoretical world. And then you'd either, once you had enough blinks, work your way back in, or you just poke from here until you had enough blinks to be annoying, to be maintaining that angle, and then go back in once you had blinks. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, cool. I like that more than spending a bunch of blinks to go get this health pack, being out of the fight that long, all those sorts of things. That's going to be way more helpful for you guys, effectively. Sorry, Electroshock. I'm going to embarrass you. Okay, now the orbs are out. Good. Good. There we go.
Thankfully.
Okay. Did we just get that? Yeah, we did. No, we have it there. Like, we'd minefield that. We'd absolutely minefield that. I don't know why we roll away. Okay. Sure. You guys have angles on this team, but I'm not sure that this team is soft enough for you to beat right now. So you guys need to play this somewhat passively and just apply pressure to this team on angles and see what you can do. Okay. Good. Sure.
I should not have pushed out there.
No. No, you should not have.
Why you needed
Meteor strike.
Okay. Cool. And you guys should clean this up. Okay. So, after you guys flip this, hopefully we'll take some good positions. Not quite. Not quite. Okay. So, where do I want my Zen to be right now?
High ground.
Great. Great. High ground is amazing. Where do I... If I've now anchored my Zen high ground, I can kind of predict how and where the fight is going to take place. So what other areas do I need to control?
Probably
Mega.
hookah and main, or main being mega area.
I could probably control both hookahs, or I could control their hookah and main. Either one of those combinations would work, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So when you guys have control, who's going to be controlling their hookah?
I feel like I
It's
default to
free.
that as Tracer, so maybe Tracer.
It's an option.
Kree Sigma? Kree Sigma? Would
I'm
probably
good with
be-
Kree Sigma doing it. I'm totally good with Kree Sigma doing it. Kree Sigma can poke them from here, do this sort of thing, kite back towards your team if they have to. I'm good with Kree Sigma having this long sight line, and us having the ability as Tracer Ball to go, we might gently hit you here. The problem with that is our backline doesn't support it amazingly, but we have much greater ability to hit them in their hookah right here while our Zen and Brig contribute, and then our Zen and Brig drop and run at them if we had our Kree Sigma here than if we had our Tracer Ball here, because if we have our Kree Sigma here, our Kree Sigma probably aren't going to walk in behind and punish them like this. I mean, they'll do it to make as a makeshift thing, but that's not something that they're going to feel super comfortable about, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Okay. Okay. You guys have done a slightly different 2-2-2 break than I'm used to, but I can live with it. Okay, so I don't like this. My ball just got driven back. That's unfortunate. So we're going to go fix it with our own Tracer. Now we're going to 2v1 that Tracer, right? No. Bosco has no interest in 2v1ing that Tracer. Okay. So I don't particularly like this. We should have been able to drive this Tracer back basically instantly in a 2v1. And then once we drive this Tracer back, like what this Tracer did by being here was he stopped these two from easily getting in to pinch these guys from behind. So these guys weren't taxed very hard as they chose to rotate across this spot. They weren't getting shot from here, and we also aren't getting to pinch them from behind and hit them right here from behind, and I don't really like that. So again, we understand if we'd had both people in this lane, we could have pushed this Tracer back faster, and then we'd follow this Tracer through, because this Tracer would go back to her team to get support, and maybe she's still fighting us off as best she can, but if she's having to stand basically on top of her team, we can dive her or we can dive past her, which is more likely, and she's not really protecting her team very well at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That said, you guys are going to get destroyed because your Zen is too close and they have rally. No, you're going to, never mind, you're going to counter rally. Okay, sure. I'd have probably transcend...
Oh, rip that.
Double support ult, okay. Sure. Okay. Why are we backing off so hard? So like this happened. We popped both of our support ults. They have rally going. We can get eliminations and they can't. I don't care that they outnumber us. Like it's really hard for them to get eliminations. Why are we walking away? Now we walk back in. Now we're walking away again. What's that?
I think we were afraid that because it was just Hog and the supports
Mhm.
like brawling against the entire team, that our
Mhm.
transcendence would run out and the rally would not be enough to keep us against like say like a Doomfist one punch.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like
no, that's really scary. Is your team positioned so poorly that they're not going to be here by the time your transcendence runs out?
Not really.
You should take that
no,
up
don't
with
be
your
that.
team if they're positioned that poorly, right?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm being, I'm being a dick about it, but like, you see where I'm going with this, where it's like, hey, the entire basis of your composition is anytime your Zen and Brig could be pushed, your other two wings should be able to collapse on the dive, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that just has to be the case, and if it's not, yeah, you can be right. Like your Zen should kite out as his transcendence is ending in a lot of situations, but we're kiting out way before. Again, I'm gonna go back here. We have both support ults going, and our Briggs is running away. Now our Zen leaves. Now our Zen. I mean, that's a lot of transcendence. Only lasts 6 seconds. Here, I'll be mean. We're transcendencing. We have half of our transcendence left. We still have half of our transcendence left. We're leaving pretty hard for having a third of our transcendence left. We have 300% speed during transcendence. You literally could have left with 1 second left because you still have this super speed. This is just, you can see you actually have time. It's just the replay going on here. Like, you need a second, maybe a second and a half to leave. And you don't even fully need to leave because sure enough, your ball's going in, your hog's going in, like, or your hog was always there. Your McCree is threatening from here, this sort of thing. Like, we want to be towards the back of the fight when it ends, but we kind of want to be in because we have our Brig and we want to be getting this rally armor. And our Brig is our protection, right? Like if we leave too far, our Brig can't protect us anymore. Our Brig backed off too with Rally, which hurts my soul, but if we'd backed off and Brig hadn't, their Winston could jump on us, and now our Brig has a harder time protecting us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
when you say like me backing off with rally hurts your souls, like do you mean that I actually should have like stayed in there and like swung on them?
I mean, you had trance.
you
so-
have Trance and Rally, like you can't die. Yeah.
I guess it's fair.
Like, well, she's getting to armor her team, and I want you stripping the armor because, hey, I want this team weak and soft so that this High Noon can actually get eliminations, or so that this pile drive can actually get eliminations. Like, you might be thinking, oh, I can't eliminate them, they have rally, that sort of thing, but like, okay, it's kind of silly to watch two support ulting teams just punch at each other, but like, yeah, you should be. I mean, we should be charging up our Hog's ult right now. We should be putting them potentially in places where they can get shot because they don't have a Transcendence going. They have Rally going, which is really powerful, but they are eliminatable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Not to mention, we popped our rally after they did, so we know our rally is going to last a little bit longer. And now it's over. Tracer just winning Tracer duels, okay. Tracer just winning Tracer duels, realizing you get a health pack from your Brig, and then going back and going, oh, okay, I can go in. Okay.
Meteor strike.
Okay. So this is a thing that needs to happen too. I know I'm picking a lot on our supports today, but they're a big engine of the comp. I promise on another day I will pick on the flankers just as hard. Okay.
Last time it was Zarya.
What's that? Last time it was Zarya?
Last time you only talked about Zarya.
I did not only talk about Zarya. Okay. So we look at this, and my Brig is fighting a Winston. Cool. This is a thing that Brigs do. I'm okay with this. Who wins a Brig v Winston fight?
The Winston, but I thought my McCree was with me because he was like literally next to me, so I thought we could like 2v1 the Winston.
You are absolutely correct to be fighting this Winston. You are absolutely correct to be fighting the Winston. Okay. Who's got the Harmony Orb right now?
I think he actually does have it.
Yeah, Roadhog has it.
Oh.
But Roadhog shouldn't have it, because who does the Harmony Orb help? Like, basically, when your Brig is fighting a Winston for you, fighting a Tracer for you, fighting those things, you basically have to give her the Harmony Orb because she is fighting it for you. Like, that is what's basically happening here. So, not a big deal, but okay. Valiant effort. Valiant effort. Okay, and ultimately this is just stall, and you guys are gonna retake. And you're gonna retake how? With what angles?
Multiple?
Okay, where's your core gonna go for this retake?
Main, I think.
Okay, where's your Hog and McCree gonna go?
They should be. I don't remember, but they should be
Or
going.
hookah.
Cool.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
your Tracer and Ball are gonna try to fight their way through main to get to the opposing hookah, right?
Yeah.
This is a perfect
Fully.
world. This isn't necessarily reality, but that's what you guys should be thinking going into this, and that's what you should start to battle for, okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So now let's talk about this a little bit more at a macro. No, I'm already going long. We're not going to talk about this more at a macro standpoint of these two because I don't want to lose you guys' attention. I'm already taking longer than I should. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. You try to push back their Winston. You somewhat successfully do so at the cost of your recall. This is going to fail. This is going to fail because we are all running in on one angle like this, on one sightline like this. Our ball is trying to slam in. I do not expect us to be able to force anything down hard enough, quickly enough, even with the minefield in play. That was very predictable. Not only did we basically go, hey, we're only doing this from one angle. Like, I appreciate that our ball came in from a different angle than our team. Doomfist is annoying. Ball really went in before the team was here. We do this. We have absolutely no angle support. Our Harmony Orb is not doing anything right now because it's not on our ball, and it didn't stop our Tracer from recalling out, so it's not doing anything right now. And now we're just having to do this, and we're going to lose.
Meteor strike.
Okay, their comp is going to win straightforward brawls with you because Winston is a better brawler, really. Like, Winston is actually reasonably okay at brawl. Zarya is a brawl hero. Doomfist is a brawl hero. They're pretty good at this brawl thing. So you guys have to establish your angles and soften them up a little bit before we can dive. If we just try to walk 6 people at them, we're going to lose. And again, we see this happening where a ball is going in like, hurrah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be here contributing. Is our backline relevant yet?
No.
So we've got to win our lanes at the same time. Like, we should take our lanes, and if we're fighting 1 or 2 people in our lanes at a time, that's potentially fine. But at this point, our ball and our Roadhog and Brig are fighting their team, right? It's not like, oh, I met a Tracer that's mirroring me here, or I'm Tracer and I met Ball or something like this, or I'm, McCree and I met McCree or something like this. This is the real team fight that's happening, but only half of you are in it, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to chill. We literally just need to go, hey, I have my lane. No one battled me for the space. This is great. I won the space for my team just by showing up. And now I'll open the angle once my team is pushing. That's all we got to do. All we got to do. Same thing here.
Angle, do you mean that the ball shouldn't be, like, attracting attention right now?
Right. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything to attract attention to get 4 people to turn to look at you when there's no other fight going on. Now, there is another fight going on, but should this fight be going on right now?
No.
So we just have 2 sets of people that are wrong here. So, yeah, we don't want to attract their attention until attracting their attention stops them from looking at a Zen that's throwing a 5 orb at their head, or a Roadhog that's potentially going to hook them, or a McCree that's going to 2-shot them. Make sense?
Yeah.
because we don't expect as Ball to get eliminations when we go in for 1v3s, 1v4s. We expect to distract opponents. If we get eliminations, it's because their 4 are having to pay attention to our core, that sort of thing. Yeah, okay. Sure.
Alla till mig!
Rally's nice and all. It's less nice when your Zen doesn't exist.
Огонь по готов!
They're gonna...
Alla
Yep.
till mig!
Primal in a second. Oh, you guys beat the raid boss. Good.
That's not right. Nothing's gonna stop.
Okay. And that... Oh, that's not it, because you guys are only at 67, right. Okay. We'll go like that. You guys are setting up your lanes. That's totally setting up your lanes. Totally a thing you've done. Totally a thing you've done. Stacking 4 people back here. I hate it. I hate it. Okay.
We made some swaps at this point.
Well, you only added soldier. It's not a big deal. Still can't do this. Still can't do this even if you run double poke like this. You would still need at least like your soldier or your McCree down here threatening with your hog. Your Ball's gonna run for his life.
Wait, did you just shoot at our own ball?
Minor detail. Okay, so this isn't amazing for us. We can win this because they have a long dive that they have to hit, and that does help us. But we aren't really controlling these wings. They're not diving past our flankers and giving our flankers access to their back line by doing so, or letting our flankers shoot them in the back by doing so. We've completely been forced back. Now, they're bad, and they're going to go huzzah and just try to jump straight at you, and you can chip them enough on the way for that to not matter. But you guys see how you've lost your wings here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's time.
Sure.
Wait for it!
Pass into the iris.
Okay. Okay. So replays sometimes cut short like that. But we know what happened. Let me just get a place where it's not ticking at us, and then we will cover this. Okay. So what do you guys think was important in this review? What do you guys think was important for this? I obviously have my thoughts of what was important, both in playing this comp in general, in this review, and for you guys specifically. But what do you guys think was important in this review? Either it was a light bulb moment for you, or you saw you made the mistake a lot of times. What do you guys think was important here?
Probably lane control and then how to kite backwards effectively when we're down.
Those are 2 excellent things. And while we went through it specifically for every single control map that you played here, control point, you guys have to do that for every map and not just for control points. And you'll notice on this control point, we talked about the lanes and we talked about the lanes. Like you might think of the lanes as, hey, there's a lane, maybe there's a lane, maybe over here's a lane. But then we sort of flipped to the map and the lane sort of changed, right? So you also have to be able to flip maps. So this will happen to you on other control points as well. But yes, lane control is going to be absolutely crucial. And you're going to want to make sure that you have 3 lanes that you're trying to fight for and that you're going for your cross lane support. I would also drill in specifically on some of you guys in terms of, hey, we really want to make sure that we don't 4-stack our group. We also want to make sure that we are getting that Discord and that Harmony Orb out. We can try to heal people up that need it, tanks, etc., between fights, but we really want to emphasize that Harmony Orb on our Ball or our Tracer as much as we can when they're leaving to set up their lanes, that sort of thing, as well as in the fight if we can. We'll bring it back to our Brig when our Brig is protecting us, or if our Brig got poked and doesn't have Inspire going, because they need full health to be able to get Inspire going again. The other thing that we would cover for our support line here would be our Brig, of course, is also thinking pretty hard about, I want to support my people on the flanks. That's why we're running the support combination with my repair packs. I want to be able to have a repair pack for Zen. That's cool. I like my Zen and all, but I am trying to support my Tracer, support my Sigma, support my Ball, support my Roadhog, support my Soldier, McCree, Sombra, whatever it is, so that they don't have to give up their lane. Because if they pull back too close to us to get healed or to go get health packs or whatever, the lane is abandoned, empty, pulled back on, and then we're easier to dive. Whereas if we win the lane, it's easier to dive their back line. Or we can keep them in a pressure situation longer, right?
Yeah,
Could
that
I
makes
ask one more question?
You can ask almost as many as more questions as you'd like, yes.
Could I ask like which lane like is it always clear like which lane like Zen and Brig should be in?
To me, sure.
Yeah. To me it seems like it's usually like main, but I'm not completely sure like
Sure.
all
So
the
the reality is you do like having the ability to threaten from two different directions if they try to push towards your Zen Brig. If I put my Zen Brig, let's say over here, and I put my Sigma up here, and I put my Tracer and Ball over here, I would still have 3 lanes, but the other team could rotate this way and push my Zen Brig, and I couldn't really protect that, right? Because I'd rotate my Tracer lane back behind them, and I'd be able to go, I'm going to hit you from here, but I'd sort of be in a situation where either those guys can't help, or maybe if I kite back enough, these guys, this center lane can help me, and maybe I'm protected enough because like they're getting hit from the side and they're getting hit from behind. But generally speaking, I would like it to be a situation where if they're trying to force on me, I have lanes on both sides that can protect me. That's generally going to be your answer. There are times where that won't be true. If you're attacking Dorado third, for example, you probably need to take high ground with your core, but you can't possibly protect your core from the right side, can you?
Yeah.
Right. So there's exceptions where you'll go, hey, high ground is going to trump it, but most of the time, yes. You want your Zen Brig lane to be the lane that's sort of the central one, and you want your other people to protect side lanes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Thank you.
Also, Bosco had a question about like his ball play and his ball positioning and cooldown usage, and if you had any like tips on that.
Sure. So when it comes to ball, and specifically when it comes to your ball, Bosco, what you're going to need to do a little bit better job being more conscious of is you're going for a high uptime ball where you're trying to just get a lot of hits. That's not perfect for your team. That works a little bit better if you guys are playing super poke heavy, and you're playing somewhat poke heavy. You have a Roadhog, you have a Kree, that sort of thing. But really what you're looking to do is you're looking to go in either when your team needs help rotating through something dangerous, so they're rotating across an open space and you don't want them to get poked, or they're rotating away from an enemy, so the enemy team needs to be disrupted, or you want to go in when you're creating an opening for your team. So you want to go in either when your team is threatening the other team, or you want to go in when your team is being threatened by the other team and they need help. The rest of the time, you really don't want to go in that hard. You really don't need to even be gunning the enemy that hard. You can do a little bit to make the rotation a little bit harder, but we don't want you doing that, doing 80 damage to the enemy, taking 300 damage in return, having to go find a health pack, and then your core gets run over or whatever, or you aren't able to trigger the first kill box that the opponents run through because you're not there, that sort of thing. Or you try to stay in, or you go back in down 300 health and you're not powerful. Hits when your team can't threaten the other team or isn't being threatened by the other team aren't that valuable, actually. So like you're going to want to pay a little bit more attention to, does my Zen, and you can just use your Zen as a proxy for your team, can my Zen fight the other team? Is the other team threatening my Zen right now? If the answer to those is yes, going in is good. If it's not, you want to set up, and you can win duels on lanes and things like that, but you don't really want to fight the core unless your Zen is fighting. And now, don't get me wrong, it's totally fine if like your Zen is fighting a Winston that's on him and you go attack the other team's Zen, as long as the other team's Zen had a way to be supporting their Winston, or the other team's Ana had a way to be supporting their Ana, and now they're not supporting it because you're fighting them. I hope that makes sense. directionally, our engagements were fine. We were mostly engaging from proper different directions. We were doing good hits. I think you probably wanted to be a little bit more conscious of when your minefield was going to come online when you were at like 90+%, because I think it surprised you a few times and caused your minefield deployments to be a tiny bit suboptimal.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Bosco says he understands.
Perfect. Any other questions, guys?
How would Hanzo be different from Kree in this situation? Or like in this comp?
It's very similar. You obviously give up your ability to flashbang to protect, which to flashbang, which hurts a little bit against tracers, things like that. But the added poke power you get, the added ability to actually get pickoffs, and the added mobility you get, yes, it's vertical only, but it's better mobility than McCree has, tends to be better, especially when you are worried about fighting other pokier variants. Like you guys right now are fighting a brawl comp, but sometimes you'll be running this comp and you'll be fighting a bunker, or you'll be fighting another Zen ball comp, that sort of thing. What Hanzo positioning wise is going to get you is he's going to do very similar things to McCree in terms of, hey, I still don't want to 4-stack. It's even more important to him that he doesn't 4-stack because he's not even bringing like an extra stun to protect the group if he does that. But with that extra angle, he's going to be even more powerful because he can get one-shots with that extra angle. He can really be lethal on that. He can give you that sonic arrow, and he can go take height on places that, he can go take. We don't have maps on King of the Hill where it's super, super relevant, but you're going to see if we took this to payload maps, his ability to on Havana, climb on top of the gas tanks to control a different angle. His ability on Dorado to quickly climb up and control a different angle. Like, that sort of thing is quite helpful, and I'd really say he's a better hero for the comp than McCree, but ultimately he's not much better than McCree. McCree is perfectly fine if you're really at all more comfortable on McCree than Hanzo.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else? Okay, then I know we ran super long here. Sorry about that, guys. I hope I didn't lose too many people's attention. I will upload the video just like we did the last one, so you guys can rewatch it if you like. But the real key that you'll want to be focused on here is take your lanes, really be conscious of taking your lanes between fights. And if you start to go down in fights, or if you feel the need to retreat, try to retreat into that concave like you guys did excellently on City Center. Try to make that automatic and a habit and not a, oh, look, this was an awesome one-off that you guys did. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tempora.
All right.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you so much.
No problem. Talk to you guys soon.
For time.
All good.